Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello, and welcome to the Jam Night Board Challenge, which has been set for us by Bin Bob 9.
Bin Bob 9.
Bin Bob 9 put in the comments. What was the challenge, Daniel?
Challenge is, you're going to a jam night set up by one of Bin Bob's friends. He assures us that there's an amplifier there.
Solid gold assurance.
Solid gold, triple lock. We have 5 minutes to get there, set up the board, plug in and start playing.
Yeah, the rules are there is an amp here, so there's no need to bring one. Just bring a small pedal board if you really have to. A maximum of 4 pedals.
Like it.
And by the time you get onto the stage, plug in your amp, there's going to be an absolute maximum of 5 minutes to get a tone before you can go. And who knows, maybe those amps will swap out during the challenge. Ready?
Ready.
Go. Righty-ho then. First thing I would say is that it makes much more sense to adapt something that you already have than start from scratch if you can possibly do that. This is the board of stuff that I've been using in my own gigs with my band. That's the main board, and then the supplementary board is this. I'm wondering if I can jimmy this into the board I need. I'm really addicted to this and I dearly love it. It's completely surplus to requirements for a jam night perhaps, but it does mean that maybe if I could supplement these, it would work. And of course, what I need is some sort of overdrive section that's capable of being flexible enough to deal with whatever the amp might be. Now, in an ideal world, in that situation, I would literally always use this Kingsley Juggler, which is a kind of a 3-stage tube preamp with vast amount of tone shaping on tap, which means I can get any kind of, well, I can certainly get close to a really nice range of overdrive tones into any amp, because it does function as a preamp. Similarly, if what I'm going into is not actually an amp, but it is some sort of full range flat response, or straight into a PA or something like that, it can handle that because it's got plenty of output. So that's option 1, to see if I can get that on there. In terms of requirement, really, it's overdrives, a couple of stages of overdrive. It's the same as always, right? So whenever Dan and I would put a board together, it would always have a couple of stages of overdrive, delay, and some kind of wobbly. Let me think about this for a minute and I'll come back. Update. I think I'm going to go with this. J-Rocket HRM. It's tough to know what overdrive pedal to choose, but you need like a stage 1 overdrive, which is going to get you some gain sounds if you want it. The Maiden, I've chosen that over the Juggler because the Juggler's just too big. So the Maiden might be a bit of a one-trick pony choice here. It will go into overdrive a little bit if you whack the controls up, and there is a mid-boost function on it, or at least a mid-pull function on it, on that middle pot there. But that's I've got that on there solely if I end up with some sort of transistor amp or an FR, something that really does need some warmth introduced. Of course, what I don't have is any sort of speaker simulation. So if I am presented with an FR, I'm just down to the EQ on here in order to be able to sort that out. Again, that's might be overkill, but I just love it so much. It's a small board. Delay, tap tempoable delay, a delay that I really like, and the signal order will go overdrive pedal, preamp, delay, rotary speaker, out to the amp. So I'm just going to get all that powered up. Luckily, because of the pedals I had on here before, I've already got the power in for this and that, so I just need to add a single 9-volt tap for the HRM. And of course, the other good news about that is if I really hated it, it would be quite easy to swap out for something else if I really didn't like it. But we'll proceed on that basis. It's hot today, which is very unusual for England. Anyway, okay, I'm there. I'll just show you what's underneath. So underneath the top of the board here, I've got power comes into the distributor. These are the 2 high current adapters, and then there's the extra bit for the extra overdrive pedal. And I need to sort of, hang on. Hopefully you can see this. I need to sort of ingloriously, it was all tidy before, now it's less tidy. That's just going to have to drip down in there and be loose in there. and then that can just go in on the top. It is a bit of a wangle what I've done with the Schmidt Array SA250 here. Martin is going to be doing his nut watching this because it just doesn't quite fit. But it actually, because of this edge here, it kind of does, and then it can clip down into place, and then it's pretty solid. And I've done gigs with this, so I know that it works. So all I need now is an IEC to see if it plugs in. So the power supply will sit off the board, and I need a separate one for the rotosphere, which you will have seen in the hole there, which is a bit Heath Robinson, but there we are. So power on. We know that this pedal is working because the LED is flashing. We know that that pedal's working, and we know that that pedal's working. That's all good. The rotosphere is on a separate feed, so if I just unplug that in back here, the rotosphere should come on. Bingo. So just a couple of patch leads then to attach these pedals all together, and we're in the game. Whoop.
Okay, we'll forget about all of this silliness for today. We're going to be looking at something more like this. 4 pedals going into unknown amplification devices. Let's have a look. Right, number 1 has to be EQ, and this will go right at the end because it means that we can shape, if there's frequencies that we need to notch out or frequencies we need to boost, we can do it right here. Okay, so that is an absolute must-have. Okay, what else? Okay, the next one I'm sure won't come as any surprise. I'm going to use the hot cake. Because I don't know what we're going to be plugging into, the hot cake I used to use, it would always be in my gig bag, and if anything failed, I could literally put the hot cake at the end of my pedal board, turn the drive down, turn the level up, and it would be a really nice analog amp sim. But it is a magical overdrive as well, so I think I'm going to use that as my main gain stage. And one more, the last pedal. So, thought about this a lot, and I was going to put a treble booster on the front. However, I don't know if what I'm going to need is a cleaner boost for certain things. I don't know, because obviously we don't know the amp. The superconductor will give me really great treble booster sounds, but really beautiful clean boost as well. And it's really easy to sort out. So I'm thinking that these 2 paired might actually be a fantastic combination. Now, I am going to be sneaky, and hopefully Mick lets me, but I'm going to put a tuner on the front. Otherwise, I'll grab a headstock tuner. But I think that's my 4. There it is. All wired up. Good to go. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Everything is in series. One quick thing. So this is an old, made in Japan, sort of 80s Boss G7. And you can see there on that sticker, it says ACA adapter only. So the old ACA units, they need 12 volts in the input. So I've just put a little 12 volt adapter underneath to power that. If they are powered with 9 volts, the actual circuit sees about 6 and a bit. So unless you're using a battery in these, stick 12 volts. If it says PSA, that's 9 volts. But if it says ACA, you want to stick 12 volts into that. But there it is. Rock and or roll. Let's see how we get on with that one. And we're back in the room.
Welcome to the gig.
Well,
You've just
fantastic.
turned up. I see you've brought your pedal board in a very sort of travel-friendly...
I have.
Yeah, that's most of the jam nights I go to, people turn up with carrier bags. You'll be pleased to know, Daniel, I turn up like a professional.
You do. Okay, points for you to start with.
Professional items.
Yeah.
So you'll go first then.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Bin Bob 9
in Bob 9.
Said there was supposed to be a guitar amp here,
Okay.
but as it happens, there was a confusion and the bass player accidentally brought 2 amps.
This is
So sorry,
priceless.
mate. Your guitar amp is this Fender Bassman on a bass cab. Is that all right?
Absolutely fine. We'll make it work.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
we'll make it work.
I'll get your cable. So you've got 5 minutes to get sound starting now.
Yeah. Own goal.
You've forgotten a cable, have you?
No.
Do you need to borrow a cable?
I do.
Unfortunately, literally every single one of the cables is broken, mate.
Okay.
No gig for you.
Man, so unprofessional.
I know.
So unprofessional.
But I can give you one back to the amp, so maybe you could just hum from there.
Okay.
Could you try
Well, it
that?
is a bit warm. I'm a bit hummy.
Yeah. That's all right, mate. I can lend you one. I can hire you one.
Okay.
It's £10 a song. Is that all right?
Perfect.
I won't plug it in because the union doesn't allow for that.
Okay.
So there you go, mate. There's a cable. £10 a song.
Thank you very much.
10.
Time? How are we looking?
I don't know.
Couple
I think
minutes in.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll leave you to that. I don't really understand guitar amps.
Okay. Fantastic.
Actually, while you're doing all that, I'll just check everything's okay with the PA.
Yeah.
Make sure nobody can hear the vocals. And the bass is so loud, everyone wants to puke. In short, I'm not happy until you're not happy. Sorry, just a little in gag there.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh. I'm ready.
What did you do?
Well, this has thrown me for a complete curveball.
Right.
That is brilliant, because that is exactly what is likely to happen.
Yeah.
Going to another bass amp. So I bought things to shape the tone, but I didn't bring anything. I've got a delay on there, and
Yeah.
that'll give it a little bit of atmosphere. But I think not having a reverb / delay pedal
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah, yeah. You have got a delay.
I got a delay.
Yeah.
And I can set that up to do something like that. But like an amp, obviously the basement is amazing, but through a bass cab, that's pretty hard work.
2x212s. It's a
And
bare-faced audio cab, which sounds fantastic as a bass rig.
Yeah, it's really
but
beautiful.
Dan's using it as a guitar rig. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first tune is like a skanky, cleanish rhythm, and then you've got to play a nice distorted solo. Go.
Okay. And it's already pretty hateful. Give me a second. But that's it. That's what you got to do.
It's too late. You're in the song.
I'm in.
What do you don't like about it?
Oh, this and that.
I don't mind it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I find that hard. Oh, okay, man.
So please explain what you're talking about. Why don't you like it?
It's too distracting. It takes away so much from the note. So I'm trying to
What does?
the rasp and the rattle from the tweeter.
Okay, we'll
Right.
turn the tweeter off then.
So that's not the tweeter. Oh, hang on. I wonder if it's the bright switch here.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Phew. Swing and a miss for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
In which case, start the clock.
This is brilliant. Can we have some like
Can you get your shitty pedal board off my stage,
chase?
please?
Can we have some like chase music and
Yeah, yeah.
oh, brilliant! Ah, that is brilliant. I see what you've done, and it's actually quite brilliant.
Right. I've got a little bit of advantage over Dan because I've already heard that I'm going to hate that channel, so I'm going to use this one. See if I can get any more love going there. We'll see. I'll use the other channel in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start exactly where Dan did, with all the pedals off, and just see if the bass tone of the amp, sorry, I don't mean bass as in bass guitar, I mean if the core tone of the amp is palatable and usable and I can deal with it. So everything off, we'll just turn the amp on. Mummy. Ah, I know. I don't know.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Phew. No tuner on the board. I have brought a headstock tuner. So what I'm hearing immediately is quite a buffery top end. Which is horrible, so the treble's going to go down to 0. I could kind of work with that. There's loads of bass. As Dan found, the no reverb is a real problem, so I would just set a core slap back. It's okay. I'm going to use the Maiden to tame that a bit further. Which it isn't going to do, just way too buffery, I think. That's not going to work, just it's a buffer on a buffer, horrible, don't like it. So we'll see if we can get a good overdrive sound with the HRM. So something is happening between that amp and that speaker cab that's creating a really disgusting high end.
However,
I'm just going to check that the horn isn't adjusted the other way.
Okay.
That makes sense.
But you were getting away with that. There it is.
The horn's the other way.
You try the Maiden now with that. Learns. Well done, mate.
What are the learns?
Wow. for me, there's a lot more. Well, there's possibly more that you can do with the speaker cab. My big fail was not having the Art Fan is a really beautiful delay, and the GE7 I thought would take care of more of that, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't recognize. I just thought it was the tweeter, the horn in it.
Just to explain that, on the back of that bass cab, there's a rotary that dials the horn, which is the speaker you can see in the middle at the top there at the cab, dials it in and out. And of course, you would assume, wouldn't you, that all the way left is off?
Yeah.
All the way left is in.
Yeah, okay.
Or at least I think it is, because it sounded best with it all the way around to the right.
Yeah.
And we got a very mid-range focused sound without that really crapping out in the
Yeah.
high. Now,
Yeah.
it's entirely possible you won't hear that very high in the mix because we're miking up the bass speakers,
Right.
not the horn, but hopefully the room mics will pick it up.
I still think,
nicely.
regardless, even with that in there, you managed to make it work.
Yeah,
Certainly a lot better than I did.
I'd have been all right with that. Whether you would have been able to hear that in the melee of a band mix and make that decision quickly is, of course, another.
But it was kind of like a 60s fuzz, broken speaker type thing. Yeah, I think you've knocked it out of the park there. That was really good.
Let's switch it up. Okay, the Jam Nights had a major investment.
Yeah.
£386.70 donated by the Trust, which is no small amount.
Indeed.
And they've gone onto reverb.com and they bought a guitar amp for the back line.
Yeah.
Here it is.
I know the Tiny Terror is really good. It just looks hilarious.
Orange Tiny Terror, 15 watts, don't you know?
Yeah, yeah.
EL84
Yep.
Magic.
Yep.
On a old Softtech 1x12 cabinet that was gifted to the club by our good friend Philip from Germany. Hey, Philip.
Thank you, Philip.
I'll go first.
You go first.
Okay, so same scenario. Get called up. I'm going to play, if no one minds, I'm going to play humbuckers this time.
Yeah.
Just for a bit of variance. I would actually take two guitars to a jam night.
Yep.
But I'm doing it because I think it might highlight the issue I think we may face with the Tiny Terror.
Okay.
Does it work?
Let's see.
It works great. So my first job is I'm going to turn it up as loud as it can possibly go, where I'm still able to get a clean sound.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so the Tiny Terror is now beyond the point at which it can be clean without it overdriving, and it's not loud enough. It wouldn't get above a drummer at this point.
No. So
now we've got a bit of an issue.
Right.
So it could be that it's an inefficient speaker. It's also working at 16 ohms, which is as quiet as it's going to be. So I've got to figure out how to get some kind of workable clean sound, or just revel in the fact that it's not quite clean and enjoy that. So if we're playing some kind of rhythm part, maybe. Got lovely mid frequencies that will cut brilliantly well.
Sounds like a guitar amp.
Now we're in this place again of having no reverb, so I just want a bit of a slap back to give me some ambience. That's okay. There's
That's
no
okay.
clean. Can't really. There's no clean to be had.
That's okay.
So from there, like a solo sound with my overdrive pedal. It's a good rock and roll noise.
Pretty good.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
You want to see what you can make of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Spinny, spinny.
Yeah, we've put all the controls back to 0. Just to be clear, it was on its 15 watt setting. There's a 15 watt on a set.
Yeah.
And a 7 watt setting. It was on its 15 watt setting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The club's new amp.
The club's new
Please enjoy.
Okay.
I'll just show you what Dan's doing because you couldn't see what I was doing. So it's got 3 controls: volume, gain, and tone.
So anything more, this, it's so trebly, anything more for that, because I would always take this and probably the SG, but at least this. So I've got to make it work with this, right? So we're into that limiting.
Yeah, it sounds killer though.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just trying to get a little bit more love in the bottom end, Michael. Trying to get a little bit more roundness of the bottom. So one of the great things about, graphic is that I actually prefer a graphic to take frequencies away
Rather than boost,
but you can boost them and it will give you, so like without it on, it's a lovely mid-range thing, but so I've made it a bit louder and I'm turning down here.
If you can detect the amount of extra noise the graphic EQ is adding, that's why Analog Man mods them.
Yeah,
That is not an Analog Man model.
No, it is an old Japanese-made one.
Yeah.
But is not modded, right?
Noisy.
Noisy. So that would probably be...
Sounds nice.
It sounds great, but I would use that because I don't have any real clean tone here, right? It's, you know, as soon as it gets to that volume, it's overdrivey. I'd turn this up and then turn the guitar down.
Just keep doing that exact same thing. Absolutely brilliant demonstration of by removing those frequencies in which it's overdriving hardest, like the mids, 1K and above.
Gives it a sparkle back.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah, like
that's
that.
great. So you've cleaned it up. You've managed to clean it up using EQ.
Yeah. Again, it's dry as a very dry thing. So I'm going to...
We're now into the third verse. Sounds great. Could the guy in the hat turn down, please?
You're sorry? So from there, I would probably kick, if I want to do a more distorted.
Yeah, mate, there's another jam in 7 years. You'd be welcome back.
Right. Yeah, I think when you're doing the distorted stuff, you could probably leave the EQ off.
Yeah, I was willing you to do that.
Yeah. Those mids are great.
Yeah, it gives you two nice flavours of it. And they're all very audible frequencies. So what you lose in headroom, I think you gain in frequency with a Tiny Terror.
Yeah.
You could have, all too often we'll hear a digital modelling type tone with all those mids gone, loads of bass, loads of treble, and it's just inaudible over a band mix. Whereas, and it might be the same volume, but it's inaudible because of the frequency balance. That is kicking out a frequency balance. It's actually really nice rock and roll guitar sound to listen to.
Yeah.
I think that would sit in a mix really nicely, and even without the lack of kind of high headroom, really, really clean, by using the guitar, it keeps a bit of edge around it, and it actually sounds really lovely. It sounds really musical, I think.
Yeah. I mean, a pair of EL84s turned up. Can't go wrong. I'm assuming it's a Celestion of some type in there.
I've literally no idea what speaker's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's great.
I wouldn't be sad about that.
No.
We'd be leaning on a bit more distortion for sure. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, gonna do one more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have it on good authority. They've said this is the best modern day amplifier. It will last 1,000,000 years.
Okay. It is. A Fender Tone Master FR12, right? This is a full range flat response. I'm going to assume Class D amplification system that is designed to go on the end of a digital modelling device.
Yeah.
Specifically Fender's one that they've just done.
Yeah. It's like a little PA speaker, right?
Yeah. Full range flat response. Going to guess it's a neodymium speaker because it weighs absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. I'll show you the top panel. I think I'm going. You're going first.
I'm going
this time.
first.
I'll show you the top panel as Dan gets to grips with it. The input is on the back, so go, son.
So there's no master volume, it's just volume.
It's certainly not designed to sound like a guitar amp, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, again, I'm going to turn that all the way up.
It's just turned it flat out.
So,
We both made a massive mistake not having reverb pedals.
I've come to understand how much I rely on reverb.
Having said you're never going to have another reverb pedal on your board ever again.
That's, yeah. Because that... Man.
That is awful.
It's really, really bad.
It's flat. It's two-dimensional.
Okay.
Because it's designed to see something that's doing the simulation of an amp, right? So also neither of us have chosen something like UA Dream or any other digital amp modelling device. That into this would have made more sense.
Absolutely. Okay, right, let me see.
Are you flat out on the guitar? So it really does need to see some sort of preamp then.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Right.
Guy in the hat, turn down a bit, please.
So I would probably be inclined to leave the hotcake on. At least give it a little bit of limiting. So the drive down low.
I cannot hear you above the drums at this point, though.
No. So I'd probably...
It's getting better.
Obviously designed to take a preamp signal level,
Yeah.
right? A line level. So by turning up the hotcake...
It's loud in all the frequencies I dislike, and quiet in all the ones that should be there and aren't.
Yeah. That's hard work, but... So now, if I boost into the hotcake...
It's okay. It's okay. I don't think you weren't getting much feedback. There weren't much harmonics happening. Didn't feel
No.
very musical experience to me.
No, it's hard work. It's like... Yeah, there's... I don't know, you give it a go. You might do better than I did. I couldn't... What you can't do with EQ is dial in harmonics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a tough listen, that.
Yeah.
Very two-dimensional, very boring on the ears.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't in any way excited. There was no excitement. Okay, we might fare a little bit better on this board because I do actually
have the preamp.
have a preamp, and I've got it there specifically just in case a situation like this arises.
Yeah, very good.
Similarly, if you've got an amp that only has an effects loop return, by the way, my tuner was a clip-on one, not on the board. Still managed to be out of tune the whole gig. So. Let's have a look then. I'll do what Dan did. I'll start with it just cranked using the same settings that he had. Yeah, interestingly, you had quite a lot of bass taken out because they're always too damn bassy, these things.
Yeah.
Right. That is the epitome of a non-tube, flat, uninteresting guitar sound to me. That's what that sounds like.
Going into a wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as hateful as a PA cab, I wouldn't say. Sounds much more like a guitar amp now.
Much better. Much better.
I've just, with the mode switch there, just got the high end response that I want. Maybe there's a bit too much bass. Let's give it a bit more of that. Dying to get some harmonics develop a little bit, but we do need some ambience, so we'll go with a bit of delay as we've been doing all the way through. Does have a bit of that buffery high end, but I actually don't mind it.
Right.
Maybe we could take some of that out here. Actually, I'm going to leave the treble in, but I'm just going to move the cut control around a bit more. It's got a global cut control.
Speaker distortion.
Hear that right on the top.
Yeah.
Not nice. Because I think we might be at the peak of its
output,
and also overloading the front end a little bit because this is a really hot signal. But nevertheless, that's quite loud.
Yeah,
there's a decent bit of volume there.
That is the first time I've ever heard that pedal not sound anything else but extraordinary.
Horrible. Something happened. It's last in chain, and something happened just where it went crazy fizzy, really nasty. I mean, you can adjust the rotor balance. I mean, it could be that we were just giving it too much gain. Yeah, I think we're really hearing the lack of speaker simulation here.
Right.
So if you were using something like the Tone Master digital modelling system, or a UA Dream, or a Helix, or a Kemper, or any other digital modelling device that had amp modelling, it would also have speaker modelling.
Right.
And I think that's what we're missing here.
Okay.
So we're hearing that hateful... Actually, it's not... You don't want to be too pejorative about it, because it might be a sound that some of you like, but it's not a sound that I like or
Sure.
want to hear. And it's not smooth, and it's absent of any kind of rock and roll harmonic that I'm interested in.
Yeah, yeah. The thing.
So that's hard work.
Yeah. So that's speaker distortion, right? I mean, it could be something else, but to me, it sounds
a lack
like
of filtering to make it sound like a guitar speaker.
Yeah.
It's what you get from a full range flat response
Whereas
speaker.
when we were in the Tiny Terror, that was smacking into that speaker, but because it's a guitar speaker, it breaks up in a very pleasing way.
An actual guitar speaker with all the frequencies
Yeah.
you want. So what you would need to add to this kind of rig in order to make that work is some kind of EQ.
Yeah,
Or,
I think you need
actual speaker simulation.
Speaker simulator, I think, would be yeah. But I will say, before the Rotosphere was kicked in, it was pleasing.
It was workable.
Yeah, when the distortion sort of masks that fizziness
A little bit.
But no, I think hats off to you, Matt. I think you came most prepared for the wild scenarios that came forth with. That was really good.
I wonder if we might have been better off with an actual amp simulator. If either of us had had a UA Dream on there, it would have worked better into the bass amp. It would have worked better into that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I deliberately didn't use anything like that because I'm just not a fan of them, and I don't like playing them. It doesn't feel good when you play them to me, having used analog gear for my whole playing life. And usually, with this sort of collection of things, you could bend it into something you would like. What was your favourite of the amps?
The orange.
The orange, yeah.
Yeah, completely.
By a million miles, me
Yeah.
too. Because it was a guitar amp and a guitar speaker.
Yeah.
The Bassman amplifier we have used many times as a guitar amp, but into a guitar cab, which has yielded much better results.
So that was amazing, hearing that into the bass cab.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, this is going to be fine. It's like, no, young man.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
So our weak spot has been the speakers all the way through, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
for
how
sure.
important that is.
Also, because we play amps with reverb, I think we underestimated. What we ended up doing was turning our delay pedals into reverb pedals.
Yeah.
And it sounded great, but yes, something that had EQ and a reverb and a speaker simulator that sounded good. I don't know.
So my heart cries out for a deluxe reverb or a Hot Rod Deluxe or a Marshall DSL, because any one of those three would have kicked all of this into touch
Yeah, completely.
today.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, that was really fun.
I don't think there's any winners today, to be fair.
No,
Just different degree of losing.
You lost the list.
There we go. The Jam Night Pedalboard Challenge. Please, if you're running a Jam Night, have some loud guitar amps.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And we'll see what we can do with those.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Massive thank you to our preferred retailers. Massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merch. Massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon.
Thank you.
All details of which are in the description below. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It does help the channel out, and it means we can do more silly things like this.
Yeah. I'm off to go and help some Jam Nights.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.